You know you're black. I know you're black. Anyone looking at you can tell you're black, she tells me. Later, following the shootings at Kent State and Jackson State, her thinking will become a bit more radicalized. But even though I'm dressing the part of a black revolutionary, I still struggle with the whole, am I black enough question.
It's the TMI Project Story Hour, a series of true stories created in our writing workshops by everyday unsung heroes. They all divulge the too much information parts we usually keep to ourselves for personal liberation, human connection, and freedom, both for themselves and those who listen. Before we get started, we just want to let you know that as the TMI implies, some content might be too much information for some listeners. And remember, your support keeps our content free and accessible to everyone who wants to listen. So if you like what you hear and you're able to chip in at tmiproject.org, thank you. Either way, we are glad you're listening. Now here's your host, Micah.
Today we're celebrating Troy Ellen. Troy Ellen's story shines a light with humor and compassion on the large and small ways that Black people are expected to fit themselves into artificial ideas of what their Blackness means. While much has changed in the decades since the Black Power movement of the 1960s and 70s, too much has remained the same. The distortions of Black history and identity that are embedded in the American psyche persist to this day. Troy Ellen's story captures the complex, sometimes absurd, daily challenges of living while Black in America. This story was originally presented at Clinton Avenue United Methodist Church in Kingston, New York, on February 15, 2020, as a part of our Black Stories Matter program, and we're thrilled to share it with you now. Here's Troy Ellen.
I'm Troy Ellen Dixon. I am sitting in the boys' school auditorium with a gaggle of other students from all grades. I have always lived in mostly white neighborhoods and attended mostly white schools. We are all there to audition for the spring play, The Crucible. I am trying out for a part as one of the young girls who experiences the collective hysteria that leads to the Salem witch trials. Called up to the stage for my audition, I climb the steps holding my copy of the play. A page is dog-eared at the part I plan to read. I've memorized most of it, but just in case, carry the book as a prompt. The drama teacher says, turn to page such and such, and begin at the top. I look at the page I have marked, which is not the page or scene he has asked me to read. In fact, I don't even know the passage he has asked me to read. I mumble a version of, I beg your pardon? And he repeats the instruction. I turn to the page he has indicated and see the stage direction in italics above the name of the character. It is Tituba. She is the slave, the first to be accused of witchcraft and the only character who is not a descendant of Europeans. Looking out into the auditorium, I see that I am the only Black person there. I begin reading. Oh, it be no hell in Barbados. Devil, him be pleasure man in Barbados. Him be singing and dancing in Barbados. It's you folks. You riles him up round here. It be too cold round here for that old boy. A terse thank you from the drama teacher interrupts my reading. He looks back at his list and calls the next name. I leave the stage, disappointed that I'm not allowed to read from the scene I selected, thrown off by the fact that I've not been allowed to even complete the passage, and upset by the thought that I obviously don't have the skill to get a part in the school play. So imagine my shock when I scan the posted list of students selected for the play and find my name next to the character of Tituba. Then again, who else is going to play Tituba? It's not as if we have scads of black students at the school. I am congratulated by my classmates and we start rehearsals. I may not have been cast in the role of Abigail or even Mercy, but I am in the play, and I am pleased with that accomplishment. Everything is going along fine until we start the technical rehearsals. While lighting the scenes, the drama teacher notes that I don't look very dark under the lights, and that my color is washed out by the footlights. Another teacher says she can fix that with makeup. No big deal, I think, since everyone is going to be wearing makeup. And it isn't a big deal, right up until the day when the teacher hands me a tube of grease paint labeled medium Negro. I don't remember my reaction at the time, but it isn't a good one. Negro is still in common usage back then, so I'm not offended by the term, but I am definitely taken aback by the idea that I need to be artificially Negro-colored since I already am a Negro. It is the first time that the insult light, bright, damn near white is delivered by someone other than another black person. Not that the teacher or the grease paint manufacturer means it as an insult, but there it is. I'm just not black enough. About 3 years later, I'm in the thick of the Black Power movement. Every black person I know imagines themselves as an Angela Davis, Huey P. Newton, Stokely Carmichael. We are all sporting enormous afros and wearing dashikis. My preferred attire includes fatigue pants, combat boots, and a .30 cal bullet on a chain around my neck. After all, I am part of a revolution, so I have to dress the part. We are all involved in staging events and performances that celebrate our blackness. We decide to perform For Women by Nina Simone. I'm tapped to help choreograph the movements of the 4 performers. 3 women have been selected and have chosen their roles: Aunt Sarah, Sophronia, Sweet Thing. No one steps forward to claim the role of the 4th woman, a revolutionary badass named Peaches. Someone suggests me for the role. There's conversation. You have got to be kidding me, I reply several times. My friends live in predominantly black neighborhoods in New Rochelle. I do not. They have parents who may not wholeheartedly support their revolutionary fervor, but do not question their actions as my mother does. She doesn't understand my need to have an afro and wear dashikis. You know you're black. I know you're black. Anyone looking at you can tell you're black, she tells me. Later, following the shootings at Kent State and Jackson State, her thinking will become a bit more radicalized. But even though I'm dressing the part of a black revolutionary, I still struggle with the whole "am I black enough" question. My friends prevail, and I perform the role of Peaches. My skin is brown. My manner is tough. I'll kill the first mother I see. My life has been rough. I'm awfully bitter these days because my parents were slaves. What do they call me? They call me Peaches. Playing the role of Peaches turns out to be a rehearsal for the many choices I will make in my life. From my choice of college, Oberlin, one of the first white schools to admit blacks, and the first college to admit women, to the advertising agency where I will spend many productive years, one that recruits, retains, and promotes minorities and women. It's also a blueprint for the choices I make when I become a mother, not straightening my daughter's hair despite my mother's objections, but instead styling it in a cute fro. At 13, I'm forced to play the role of Tituba, a black slave. At 16, I choose to play the role of Peaches, and I feel empowered. Stepping into her character, allowing myself to feel the struggle, misery, and strength of her character helps me shape the blueprint I need to become my own version of a black badass, an educated professional, a mother, and now an active member of a thriving multi-generational community of black activists, artists, and educators who are fulfilling the promise I felt many years ago when at 16 years old, I was in the thick of the Black Power movement. And in this blueprint, no medium Negro makeup is necessary. I am black enough exactly as I am.
Thanks, Troy Allen. Your story gives us a deeply personal glimpse into a pivotal time in our country's history. We appreciate all the ways the story and the work that you do in the world is creating new blueprints for how we, human beings, can learn to be in healing community with each other. Our Black Stories Matter program provides Black-led, true storytelling workshops and is aligned with the mission of Black Lives Matter. You can find more stories from the collection in Season 2 of the podcast or on our website, tmiproject.org. See you next week. Until then, I'm Micah, and this has been the TMI Project Story Hour.
If you like what we're doing, please subscribe, rate, and leave a review wherever you get your podcasts. It really helps. TMI Project is available to offer true storytelling workshops and performances for your school or workplace. To learn more or to support our work, you can find details about it all at tmiproject.org. This episode of the TMI Project Story Hour was produced in partnership with Radio Kingston. It was written by Dara Laurie and edited and produced by me, Eva Tenuto, Blake Pfeil, and Rain Grayson. Our theme song is Secrets by Edison Woods. I'm Eva Tenuto, TMI Project's Executive Director. Our Operations and Programs Manager is Blake Pfeil. Our Organizational Administrator is Rain Grayson. Our Marketing and Digital Coordinator is Laura Marie Ruocco. Our Administrative Assistant is Riley Gibbons. Our Graphic Designer and Webmaster is Lauren Gill. Our workshop leaders are Perla Iora, Haley Downs, Rain Grayson, Ray Lipkin, Dara Laurie, Micah, Julie Novak, Blake Pfeil, and me, Eva Tenuto. New episodes of the TMI Project Story Hour come out every Wednesday. To learn more and to find a special writing prompt so you can start telling your story, visit tmiproject.org/podcast.